back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon podcast. I'm your host, Perry. With me, as he always is, it's Eric the Whiskey Mutant.
It's me. I'm here.
You just came out of like some kind of like wrestling intro, I feel like.
Yeah.
That was cool. Where'd he go? He's doing the John Cena, You Can't See Me. And I can't see him anymore. It's crazy.
Back.
He's here.
I'm here.
Wow.
I knew we were recording, so I had to be here.
I'm proud of you. Thank you for showing
I
up.
keep reading that.
Flying Blind Eric already hates me. From Joseph Brazel. From last week's episode.
So
it's a sticky note on the table.
I'll leave it there as a reminder.
People love you, though.
Some of them. You've seen the messages.
I have seen the messages, but I'm not seeing any messages anymore because the survey's closed. We're not talking about it anymore. What we are talking about, though, is that this is Meetup and Live Show Week. Thank you all so much to everybody who has bought tickets already. There are a few left, and I mean a few tickets left.
3?
Basically,
yeah.
At this point. We are still going to keep the ticket links up for anybody who is still interested. You are more than welcome to come and hang out with us. Please, if you're interested, come hang out. I mean, we want you to be here.
If you don't buy a ticket, we'll see you on the street.
Yeah. We'll wave to you from afar.
I'll go
across the train tracks.
And say hi.
Yeah, and then we'll run back to the group and everything.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say if you don't know about it just yet. We got Kenny from Bourbon Pursuit coming and being our third co-host for the live show where we're going to be interviewing folks from RD1, from Dark Arts Whiskey House, from Bardstown Bourbon Company. And then, of course, Kenny is going to be there also not just repping Bourbon Pursuit, but also Pursuit Spirits.
Yep.
And it's going to be a really great time. Spirits, samples.
Flowing.
Spirits flowing from the heavens above, from Valhalla itself, where Scotty, what's his name, got arrested this morning. As of recording, Valhalla.
Yeah.
That's your pun?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Isn't that a real place?
Sure. It doesn't matter. I'm really, really excited for this weekend coming up. It's crazy that it's already here. But if you're local or if you're looking for a weekend trip, grab your tickets. If they're sold out, send us a message. Maybe we can get somebody in. I don't know. I mean, maybe we have a little bit extra room.
Depends on who you are.
Eric's questionable. I said yes.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm saying yes.
Go around and find out.
Okay. Well, anyway, you can also, if you feel like it, if money is not too tight, I know that things are kind of quickly changing with the economy in not just the United States, but across the world. If you want to support the show, you can do so on patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. For as little as $5 a month, there is bonus content that is over there. I'm going to be swapping around a little bit of what you get per tier.
Oh, yeah?
Over there coming up soon, shifting around some of the things so that I have been really irresponsible with some of the rewards.
Perry.
But as I get older and I try to be more responsible, I am taking it upon myself to be more responsible for delivering rewards to the people who support the show. And as I shift things around, I will deliver the rewards to the people who have
hand deliver
them. I will fly to you if you are across the pond. I will make good. Sure, why not?
Okay.
I will make good on the things that you have been that you are supposed to have gotten already. But then I'm going to try to update things so that it is a better reflection of what you could receive on a month-to-month basis coming up. But I just want to try to make things a little bit more realistic. Is a weird word to use in this scenario, but it's a podcast.
It is,
and it's bourbon related.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about that. But anyway, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, $5 a month and up. There's bonus content, but also there's a tier where like the first time you sign up, you get a free shirt. There's a tier where I think once every few months you're going to get samples as well.
You can make a tier where they 69 with me.
Okay.
Like the videos.
Yeah.
You know, the videos on the
the
internet.
reviews. Yeah,
on
a
the
special.
internet.
Oh, you know what you could do?
On the internet, the reviews.
They could do like a request where they get like a 69 review.
Yeah.
Where
this
just
is getting in
just for them.
OnlyFans territory, but I'm okay with it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, it's Patreon.
Yeah.
They get a special photo set that you send. April's taking the pictures. She was like, "Is this really necessary?" And you're like, "They paid for it.
They
you
want
don't
it.
understand.
They want it. They get it."
But that's all I got for the intro.
What else do we do during the top
We
of
normally,
the show?
at the beginning of the show, start things out with Flying Blind, which is how we kind of get our palates warmed up. We don't have a review this episode, but it's always nice to kind of, kick things off with some bourbon.
Of course. We
Isn't
got to
it?
drink bourbon on a bourbon podcast.
So I got
People get mad when you don't talk about bourbon on a bourbon podcast.
I feel like we had this exact intro a few weeks ago.
Nah.
I'm having really bad deja vu. It's crazy. Anyway, I got a Flying Blind for us.
Okay. Is it bottle or sample?
Yes. It's bottles.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. One more time. Everybody's flying blind.
Now, for anybody
Here we
who's
go now.
listening, Eric likes to do this thing where he covers his eyes up really hard. And after he's done covering his eyes up, he releases them really, really fast. So he gets like the dizzies.
Yeah, it's how I do things, dude. It's so fun.
So like, when you're a kid, it's kind of like you get...
It's like a semi-pass out game.
He's talked about it on the podcast before, but he also talked about it on his episode with Mosick on Journey Drinkers, which if you haven't listened to yet, you absolutely should. If you're comfortable with listening to two grown men talking about some sexually explicit topics.
Hey, that's how it is. I was doing this too, and I think he was confused because he has blindfolds because his big thing is blinding people too.
Well, if you listen to my episode of it, he was talking about how he tried to find bourbon-specific blindfolds, and he was like, it sent me down a path of BDSM apparel on Amazon. I was like, that's crazy, man. You may now uncover your eyes and experience the wonders of multicolored.
That's the best.
Anyway, you have 2 pours before you. We will go left to right. Don't spill anything, please.
That was a long, eye holding.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to push as hard. And he's passed out, everybody. That's great. Well, I guess I'm going to do this episode solo. I've done it before.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. Wow, that was quick.
Okay, 2 pours.
Left to right.
2 pours, 1 mutant. Okay.
What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you smelling? Because we haven't gotten to the tasting portion yet. You're just smelling.
They smell high proof.
Well, you know me.
The right glass smells like high proof MGP.
Okay.
It smells really good. Probably not too old. Maybe the first one smells like wheated bourbon. Like a high proof wheated, like a maker's cast strength. It's got that cherry strawberry biscuits type deal going on. The right smells like MGP. It smells a little higher proof. It's kind of got that baking spice. Not Elijah Craig barrel proof baking spice, but I don't know. There's just like a certain thing I get on the MGP that this smells like. Especially kind of like that 5 to 6 year high proof range.
Okay.
It's almost like a snickerdoodle on rye.
Okay.
I like them both on
All
the
right.
nose. I swear to God, if you're tricking me again, I'm going to go crazy.
How would I trick you?
Hey, we're going to send him something that he doesn't like.
No, I didn't trick
him
you.
into making
This
sure
is
he
from my
likes.
collection.
I know. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, we're
Don't
starting
do
out
that
with
to me again, people who send samples.
glass number 1. I'm drinking from the igloo glass from Mossick, by the way.
Look at that.
So,
Ooh.
I will say, tasting this though, I'm not trying to like lead the witness.
Red blow pop.
Nothing about this particularly reads to me like a wheated bourbon when I taste it.
No, it doesn't have... The finish is very light.
Yeah, it doesn't like hit me on the palate. Because, you normally with wheated bourbons, you're missing a lot up front with because you're not getting the spice that you would with a rye mash bill. There's nothing on the palate that would indicate that there's anything missing.
Right. When I taste it, I get candy red, like red sucker.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Red sucker, red, even like those like mouth, those cough drops.
Herpes? Oh, sorry.
Interesting.
Eric, I have something to tell you.
Been sharing a lot of glasses. But
and they're going to be at the meetup this week.
We tested them all. But finish is very light on this. Like I like a good long finish, but also like this is a very like soft, like it's sweet. It's a sweet little finish. It's a little sweet finish.
Yeah.
And it's cherry sucker.
Yeah. I'm going to say clean your palate too.
Okay.
Just cleanse your palate, clean your palate. I don't know. I feel like if I say clean your palate, you got to put it through a car wash.
Like doing those, like, have you ever seen somebody like actually scrub their tongue? And, like, they pull the crap off of it.
I got a tongue scrubber for when I brush my teeth.
Okay. I am cleaned.
All right. Cleansed.
Cleanse.
I don't know. You've been blessed by the priest or not. I don't know.
I like that more. Turns blueberry-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Front palate is very light, not a whole lot going on, but as soon as it hits the mid palate and the finish, it's like a blueberry finish. It's like not blueberry muffins, but more like some sort of like blueberry like syrup. Like have you ever had like you go to like a pancake place and they have all the blueberries and like it's like
they
in
bring
the
you
syrup.
a flight of syrups.
It's blueberry syrup.
Yeah.
It does not taste as high proof as I thought it was going to be, but based on nose.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love this one so much.
So I gotta go with right as my favorite.
Well, me too.
Okay.
There's a reason that
Okay.
Anyway. It's not that I don't love left shark as much as I love right shark. You know, that's the eternal debate.
They're both good, but definitely right is the winner.
Yeah, I completely agree. Would you like to know what we've been drinking here? All right. Left glass. Old standard. Good to go. 1792 full proof. Definitely not a wheated bourbon. 125 proof, of course.
I thought it was more, it smelled and tasted more along that like 110, 115. Like, yeah. Because I had in my head Maker's Cast Strength.
Now, for anybody who is either unfamiliar with this bottle or has kind of taken it out of their lexicon, their Rolodex of bottles. It's not even a store pick. It's I guess a small batch. There's nothing indicating that it's I think they are a single barrel, of course. These are popping back up in stores. I've gone to Liquor Barn multiple times recently, and they have been on the shelf. I'm not saying this is indicative of stores nationwide, but it's at least out there.
This is one of the better, quote, foolproof, like just normal bottles of whiskey.
Yeah, and
I always love a good foolproof.
you know, in my recent bourbon drinking days when I was really hitting the bottle hard, let's be honest.
COVID?
No,
Before that?
after.
You was going through these.
I was going through benchmark foolproof.
Oh, okay.
That's
true.
I think I
we
was
all
kind
were.
of. I think I was kind of lying to myself, saying it was just as good as anything else you could get out there. Having gone back to it, not quite as good. Not
It'll
quite.
do the job after you burnt your palate out.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just nice to see this for $65 on the shelf.
Yep.
Again, when I bought a bottle recently, I went up to the cashier and he was kind of making small talk. He was like, "Oh, it's really cool to, 1792 foolproof. It's cool to see this again." I go, "Yeah, man."
Did you know that this company is owned by Buffalo Trace too? They're all in the same umbrella.
They start telling you stuff like that.
No, I made the joke and I was like, "Yeah, man, nature's healing." He was like, "It was awesome." It was like he'd never heard a joke before in his life.
You just introduced him to comedy?
Yeah, basically.
That's amazing.
It was really good. Anyway, so typical old 1792 foolproof
I love
from the Barton Distillery.
I like it.
And on the other hand,
Okay.
I had to hit you with the Nulu Wagyu.
Another bottle, baby.
Of course, it's another bottle, man.
High proof MG.
No, it's Kentucky.
Kentucky. I forgot that it's Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah, it's Kentucky bourbon now. So this is a Nulu pick.
I was right on the years. It's 5 years old.
It's under 6 years
Is
old.
there a Wagulu too?
Yes, there is.
How is it?
I've not had it yet.
Where's
I've
it
not
at?
seen it.
Oh.
I know it's out there. I've just not seen Wagyu too. So if you're not familiar with the show, or if you need a refresher, Wagyu is a Nulu pick from Liquor Barn.
I love
What?
I could totally just start arguing about this. Distilled by MGP of Indiana.
No, it's.
I know.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
I
understand.
win.
But
it may say Kentucky, but on the back it says the MGP. I don't
no,
care.
it is.
I don't care. It's a great bottle.
It's Barton distilled.
If you're coming to the live show from out of town or VIP, you have to go on your, the free time that you have to go grab a bottle of this. You have to.
Yeah.
I've even, Perry gave me some, and I've still got it back here because I didn't want to use it all.
And there's still some out there. I mean, there's still
It's
plenty
there.
of it out there.
The Liquor Barn, closer to where we're recording, I'm not going to say anything else, has some. I saw them the other day.
Yeah. 5 years, 3 months old, 129.6 proof. It is the mash bill that it's not the same mash bill as 1792. It's the one that Barton uses to contract out to their sourced product. I think it's supposed to be a little bit higher rye.
I could see that.
I don't remember the ins and outs of it entirely.
It reminds me of MGP.
No, I think it does entirely.
Yeah.
I think it was, if I'm to put my tinfoil hat on, it does kind of read like Barton's answer to, MGP's contract distilled high rye mash bill, right? If they were trying to compete with that profile, so that they could bring business back to Kentucky, back to the Commonwealth. You know what I mean? So,
do you think that this sticker would look better if they flipped the Wagyu steak and made it the same way, or do you like it?
No, I like it that it's contrasting.
Okay.
But I think it would also be interesting. I don't know what the sticker on Wagyu 2. So what he's saying, for anybody who's listening, is that the steak on the sticker, they actually have a Wagyu steak on the pick sticker for the bottle. it's kind of a mirror image of the state of Kentucky, and the state of Kentucky in the Liquor Barn logo. Well, it's in the Liquor Barn logo.
Oh, man, that's what I was trying to like. Every time I smell this and go back to it, I get that savory barbecue rub, but it's like a sweet barbecue, and that's exactly what I was trying to get out. Like, it's a sweet barbecue of some sort. Like I know you barbecue with like different like cherry woods and stuff like that. It's got that woody, savory, smoky, but sweet. You still get some fruit, some kind of like flavored wood on it. Like, that's.
So anyway, the steak and the picture is kind of like the mirror image of the state of Kentucky. And what you were asking was like if it were actually, lined up instead of being flipped.
What if they took the shape of Kentucky, but they put the texture of a steak as Kentucky?
Oh, I would love that.
Has all the little
maybe I've done
lines.
Maybe for anybody who's watching, I've done a little bit of editing because I'm a graphic designer as well.
Can you make that a shirt design?
Oh.
Or a sticker? We could do a die cut sticker, and it's just the shape of Kentucky, but like the color
steak
is
like
Wagyu steak.
Yeah. The marbling.
This is my Wagyu podcast.
Oh. The most expensive podcast ever.
Yeah, every time you listen, you got to have some Wagyu.
No, a few weeks ago, we paired the Wagyu with the Wagyu flavored rice crackers that Don Nishida sent to us as well.
Still good. It's been a while.
Well, that's okay because I ordered a bunch of bags of them.
The smell of it, though. I know they're stale because the bag's been open for a while, but they smell so good.
Okay. I'm still going to...
You're going to do it?
Yeah, I'm always going to... If you put these in front of my hands and or face, just I'm so close to having them in my hand. Golly, dude. They feel a little stale. No, they're fine.
No, they're good.
Anyway, I ordered a bunch of bags of this. So,
damn.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the people who are coming to the VIP. We might be doing a little pairing.
Oh, we're definitely doing a pairing. That's one of our...
As long as they get there in time.
That's your spoiler alert for Thursday's tasting that we are doing.
Yeah. But anyway, it was like the best pairing.
Oh, that's so good.
We've ever done. Anyway, this is still like, this might be my favorite pick ever, even picks that I have been on.
I mean, we've picked 3 Nulus ourselves.
We've picked 3 Nulus. I picked a Knob Creek, my very first pick ever, a Knob Creek that came out of the barrel at 121 proof.
Wilderness Trail. We picked
new riffs that have been exceptional as well.
The first ever Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company pick.
I mean, there are just so many things that we have done that have been incredible. Funky Nerds, which wasn't really a pick.
No, but it's a pick. It's
a something.
It's a something.
It's a something.
If you're coming to the live show, we're going to do giveaways, and I'm going to try to put together a little sample pack of like all our picks, that at least that what I have, so you could win like a sample of like all the picks if you never got a chance to buy a bottle.
There you go. What have you been drinking recently?
What have I been drinking? Well, as you all know, I love to go to Banner's Sports Bar. I always, when we order Banners for dinner, I leave a little bit early so I can go to the bar and have a pour while they're still doing it. This month, they have a Bullet bourbon single barrel that they picked as their bourbon of the month. So it's super cheap. And listen, Banners don't hold back on the pours, okay?
No, they do not.
You get a single pour, you basically getting 2. They're the best. And it tasted like old Jim Beam. And I was not mad about it. The Bullet?
Weird.
It tasted like dusty Jim Beam. I was very shocked. The owner was there. We always talk. He's a Bills fan. We were talking about the Bills and all this stuff. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's just a weird Bullet. And we was like, let's take it. So I had that. I actually got another Wilderness Trail pick. This time it was a bourbon, a high rye bourbon, not the wheated. I got it from Kroger, and it was one of those where it's like it's
Wait, you picked this up?
Yeah, it's upstairs. You want to try it?
Yeah. Please?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask so I didn't sound like I was being...
No, I should have brought it down, but, the chaos of trying to get things started, I never know.
Yeah.
Because it was the last thing I had the other day, and it's still upstairs. But it's not a Kroger pick. It's one of those line share picks. You remember we were talking about line share?
Oh, you're kidding.
And it's they must have had it and they just haven't sold it because they had it on like this... You know how Kroger will put like the shelves that like of stuff that's been a while?
Yeah.
Because it's not like the new like grippy bottle shape.
It's like an old, fatter bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it. And I'm back.
Hey, that was quick.
I got this. See?
Magic of editing.
It's not a...
Yeah.
It's a fatty. It is a 4-year, 3-month ISC, number 4, char and toasted.
Really?
This is a rye bourbon from Wilderness Trail. It's 115 proof.
I'm excited.
So you tell me what you think about that.
It's very fruit heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's appley.
Yeah. Aside from the like spice and the acidity on the finish, I think I would have had a hard time believing you that this was a rye bourbon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so sweet.
It is. It is an apple pie all the way through.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
really good.
It is. You can see I've had it for a week and it's already...
So that is definitely what you've been drinking recently.
Yeah, and it's been one of those things where it's like I have, I've talked about it before, trying to cut back a little bit, but it's like, I'm sure a little half ounce won't hurt anything. And so it's been my daily drinker.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I mean, here's a little peek behind the curtain as well. As we have prepared for the meetup and the live show, we have had our fair share of stresses, and we've been trying to make sure everything is in line and ready to go for the weekend. And so maybe we have had a little bit more recently. Yeah. Why do you think I have a new bottle of Wagyu? So here we are. But anyway, it's crazy just how different that is.
It is. It is one of the, and I got it just because I was like, I wanted like a new bottle of Wilderness Trail. Like I got that wheated one the other day, and I was like, man, like I've kind of fallen back a little bit on like, I mean, you know how many Wilderness Trail picks I have over there.
Yeah, you got like a whole shelf just for Wilderness Trail.
Yeah, and I was like, I need.
And a lot of people have, a shelf just for Buffalo Trace or just for Roses, but you got really one just for shelf. Wilderness Trail, which is cool. I mean, you think about somebody like Ian with New Riff, and I think you are to Wilderness Trail what Ian is to New Riff.
I wish that like they knew me by name though. I think they know Ian by name. Like he lives so close there.
Yeah, I mean, if you lived in Danville,
they got
which
a
is
restraining order on him one time. He was there so much.
Are you, speaking of New Riff, by the way, are you as excited for old New Riff as I am?
What? Old New Riff?
Old New Riff.
So like it's a 10-year?
No, so we talked about it with their master distiller when we interviewed him last month.
I can't remember.
A couple months ago. It's that series that just, or the limited release that just got announced, where they are taking their heritage grains and they're basically creating what they would imagine New Riff would have been like 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm always excited about something with New Riff.
I am too. But
how we gonna get it?
Well, I'm gonna buy it next week when it drops, or I buy one, you buy one.
I buy one, you buy one.
Because they're both $55 a piece.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So,
what have you been drinking? Other than Wagyu?
I mean, honestly, not a whole lot otherwise. If you watched last week's episode of the podcast or listened to last week's episode of the podcast, you know that we reviewed the Elijah Craig Valhalla special edition.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And we were not particularly favorable in our review of it, which, you know,
At least we didn't go to jail.
I keep like debating on whether or not that
You
was
went
a
back to
fair-
it.
I did multiple times,
And it didn't change.
and it did not change. And so there was this, you know, thought in the back of my mind of like, was that a fair assessment of what it was at face value? And the thinking, I was kind of two minds about it. And the first one was that reasonable? And I think initially, yeah, it was reasonable because we were judging it on what it was in the glass, which is what we do when we review bourbons, you know, whether it's something we have been sent by a distillery or something we have actually picked up with our own money. And I think that, yeah, we just had to review it on its own merit, you know?
Yeah.
And the other one was, are we reviewing something that is a commemorative piece that is probably something that is not going to be opened by a whole lot of people who are there?
But the people who listen to Bourbon Podcast
Yeah,
that had
that's
this
the
bottle are opening.
That's the thing. Even if, you know, and we have friends who are at this weekend, they're at
There's always
PGA
another bourbon
Championship.
guy to do stuff around the house.
That was solid. That was really solid. Yeah, did you have that planned?
No.
Okay. I don't believe
What are
it.
you talking about?
You know, we have friends who are there who are participating in the events, and we just. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have said yes if we had been asked to be a part of it. Having tasted it, though, I don't know. Like it would have been like, you know, like through gritted teeth,
Yeah.
having to endorse it.
Just how it is.
You know, and I think I'm honest to a fault when it comes to what I think about things, which I mean, it's the best policy.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's okay.
it just is how it is.
I don't think Heaven Hill expects us to like everything that they make.
Yeah, I mean, we gave a fairly okay review to A124 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
I mean, yeah, well, there's tons of stuff we love from Heaven Hill. Just because we don't like the PGA Tour one.
Yeah, that felt like more of a gimmick than anything,
It did.
but you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So I went back and tried that a couple of times. The night after we reviewed it, I took it over to my father-in-law's house. Brett.
What Brett think about it?
He thought it was all right. Our buddy Josh Butcher was over there too, and he kind of had that same feeling of this is a little sour and weird. And I still had the Ryder Cup bottle as well, and so he tried. They both tried it, and they were both like, I get the same weird feeling when I'm drinking this alongside the PGA bottle of like there's a strange like sourness to this. So I don't know. It amazes me that Heaven Hill wouldn't take, and I'm not like. It's a weird middle ground to be in because we criticize people like or brands like Maker's Mark and Woodford who just take their standard bourbon and put it in a special bottle and charge double for a commemorative piece.
Yeah.
When a special event happens. But somebody like Heaven Hill goes the extra mile, quote unquote, and they don't actually, you know, and it's all subjective, of course, but they don't actually produce a better product a more special product.
At least they didn't charge extra.
Yeah, or they did, and it wasn't, that much more expensive, I guess, because, the PGA Valhalla Elijah Craig was $6 or $7 more than the small batch.
They should go all out and make a pre-fire one because it's like before you die. It's like
that would be
Valhalla's for the
wild.
Yeah.
We found these barrels that were just sitting around from before the fire.
Yeah.
It's hard to toe that line, and I know that it's a conversation that doesn't have a really definitive yes or no quality to it. It's not a black or white conversation. But regardless, I don't know if it would have been a better situation if they had just stuck a regular Elijah Craig in that bottle necessarily.
Probably taste better.
But on the flip side of that, Friday night after we got done recording, Lucy and I went on our first date night in
Ever?
No, dude.
Awesome.
In months.
Oh.
Because we've been busy and
Yeah, y'all been busy. You made a baby. Yeah. Let's skip the date. We're staying in tonight. I ain't wrong.
Anyway.
Anyway, where'd you go?
Anyway, we went to our buddy Dexter's new spot, Obstinate Sons in Chevy Chase. I had one cocktail, and it was their barrel-aged Manhattan.
How's that?
Holy moly. It was fantastic.
I know he knows what he's doing over there.
He knows what he's doing. Made with chocolate bitters.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I got it. There are two ways to get a Manhattan. On ice or up.
What's up?
Neat.
Oh.
Essentially. That's served in
with
a...
balloons. You just
and an old man named
old
Carl.
man comes out, just floating. He's like, hey.
But it was delicious. I got the fish. I got the sole piccata.
So
it was
hungry.
delicious. I got a side of
so hungry.
The pimento grits.
Oh,
they were spicy. They might have lit you up a little bit.
It's worth it.
Lucy got the chicken marsala, which was delicious as well. Everything was wonderful. Incredible atmosphere. We had been kind of debating up until that evening. We wanted to go to Obstinate Sons because we hadn't been there yet, but we were between that and OBC. And we stopped in at Obstinate first, see what the wait was. They're like, oh, it's 30 minutes. We're like, we could probably do that. We called OBC just to see what the wait was after we put our name in at Obstinate. Lucy calls and goes, what's the wait for 2 people? I hear, and Lucy goes, oh my gosh, okay, never mind then. She hangs up. She looks at me and she goes, it's 3 hours.
For 2?
It was 6 o'clock at that time.
What was happening last Friday?
I don't know.
Jesus.
3 hours
I've never heard
for
of that.
2 people.
I mean, I love OBC.
I do too.
I've never heard the wait be that long.
I was like,
An
that is
hour,
not
maybe.
happening. There's no way that we are doing a 3 hour. 30 minutes for Obstinate was no big deal.
Jeez.
We just hung out and chatted, before we sat down. I mean, it was great. It was no problem at all.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so Obstinate Sons here in Lexington, Kentucky. Go check them out. They have an amazing selection of vintage bourbons as well. Dexter was not in that night. He had the flu. It was the first night that he was not there since they opened.
Oh,
in
yeah.
February.
He's committed because he was going to come to the live show, but he knows how busy the weekend is, and he's
Yeah.
like, he can't.
Yeah.
But, You might get to taste something from them.
What do you mean might? They are going to.
I'm just teasing it. So I gotta make it sound like
We
it's
announced it last week.
I know, but I got to do it like this.
Stop being such a weird tease about it. Everybody knows already.
You might get to taste it. Hey, you might if you come.
Well,
As you are.
Anyway,
what are we doing? I know what we're doing.
I wanted to talk about this because we haven't done a discussion episode in a little while. The last time we did, things kind of went sideways, and so we took a bit of a break from it. But I don't want to. We're not doing this episode as like a. It's not what we did before. But it's something that like has been kind of brewing in the back of my mind for a little while. And I finally started to compile pieces of it. And I talked to you about it last week. And there's been this
tortured me.
I didn't torture you.
You made me hate YouTube.
No, I did not torture you. I did not make you hate YouTube. There has been this trend. It's not just with Bourbon YouTube. It's with YouTube in general, because this is the thing that works with YouTube. And if you we have to back up a little bit, right? We have to talk about the general trend of what makes videos on YouTube work. And I'm one of those people where I'm like, I gotta rest on my laurels, and I gotta make, like, if the content works, it's the content that I have to keep pushing, right? And like, I gotta make sure that I'm doing the best thing for us. I don't want it to be about the thumbnails. I don't want to be about, the thing that's the most popular. But I have enjoyed, like, with TikToks or Reels or whatever, because there was the one Adult Swim trend that I did, which I'm still super proud of, where in 21, I guess it was, where I was in the pool on
Adult
vacation,
Swim.
and I love that video still. I still love that video, and I go back to it every now and then. I'm like, I'm so proud of that. But anyway, there has been this, like, and if you don't know who Mr. Beast is,
who are you?
You know what's funny though? Lucy and I have gotten to the point where we watch Good Mythical Morning together, and it was a show that I only watched for a while, and I started showing her a couple of videos, and she was like, I really enjoy this content, and we started getting to the point where we watched it together. And there was an episode recently where they were guessing celebrity ages. No, you know what it was? They were playing blackjack, and they were playing blackjack with celebrity ages. And Mr. Beast is 25 years old.
Oh, I know.
It's insane.
I know.
And I made the comment of, I cannot believe that Mr. Beast is only 25. And she was like, I really don't know who Mr. Beast is. Yeah, exactly. You were surprised by that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't have to like watch his content necessarily, but I think it's important for you to understand culturally who Mr. Beast is.
Oh, yeah.
And he is largely what I would consider to be a philanthropist, a YouTube philanthropist, and he gamifies it in a weird sort of way. I mean, he has done things like recreate Squid Game without the death.
So you think?
Well, as far as we know,
we only know what he shows.
Yeah, but he gives away like hundreds of thousands of dollars. He has, thank you, Eric just broke out the Mr. Beast Feastables candy bar for us as well.
He wages a war on Hershey's.
Yeah,
damn, Mr. Beast is good.
He tries to do like actually sustainable candy bar making.
I ain't mad at this.
Jimmy is his name. We paired the peanut butter one not too terribly long ago. These nuts. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. But anyway, this is all background just for you to understand that because he has become so popular, of course, the way that he presents himself on a face value, of course, he is going to that presentation is going to trickle into other niches on YouTube. And so naturally, it's going to hit Bourbon YouTube eventually too. And increasingly, there has been this trend on YouTube, on Bourbon YouTube, of bourbon hunting videos as well. I haven't even tried the Feastables chocolate yet. I'll get there after I'm done talking. I'm sure that people have seen these videos before. They didn't really hit my radar until maybe about 6 months ago. Maybe it's been a little bit longer than that. I don't know. If you don't know, I'm good friends with Chad and Sarah of It's Bourbon Night. And so I chat with them regularly. I have a group chat with Chad and Chad of My Daily Bourbon and Swan.
It's only the worst group chat I ever heard of.
It's pretty great. Where we talk regularly. And so we talk about like their content as well. And there was like a little bit of hesitancy for them initially to even put out like a bourbon hunting video because it's something, it's not even just been like the past 6 months. It's within the past year that these videos have become somewhat popular, right? And the basic rundown, if you've not seen them before, is a lot of what it starts out with is, hey guys,
do you want me to do a 30-second bourbon hunting video right now?
All right. Yeah, I'm curious how you're going to do this. I'm going to try this Mr. Feastables. That's not the name, but I'm going to try this.
Perry sent me a playlist to watch. And
yeah, because I wanted you to actually do some like research.
I did, and I want all my life back.
Oh, this is not bad.
No, it's not bad.
You want your life back.
Yeah. So this is a quick recap of about every bourbon hunting video. Hey guys, Whiskey Mutant here. We're in the heart of Kentucky. We're at the 7th best liquor store in Kentucky. Pete is Pete's whiskey and spirits. We're going to go in here. They don't really like if you record or take pictures, but fuck them. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to annoy everybody in the room. Let's head on in here. Oh, wow. Seeing this out in the wild is crazy. The wild. This is actually one of the best priced I've ever seen this. I love this bottle. I'm not going to get it. Holy look over here. Look how much they're pricing this on the back shelf here. Hey, tell me right now, what would you pay for this in this not live video at all? Oh, I keep seeing this in the wild. What is this? I have no idea where it's distilled. Tell me down below where it's distilled. We'll get there. I'm not going to get that. So yeah, we're going to head to another store. That's $5,000. Tell me what you would pay. I'm not going to get that. All right, guys, let's go to the next store. Comment below what you would have picked up, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was a pretty good rundown.
Every video. This is one of my go-tos. Oh, this is the best price I've ever seen. I'm not going to get it.
It is weird to me.
In the wild. If I hear in the wild one more time
Like it's a safari.
on a hunting video, I'm going to lose it, guys. Calm down about in the wild.
But
Wild.
that is the notion, though, that it's like that it is a safari, that you're going on this like this actual hunting trip.
And if you keep asking people what stuff is and what they think, it's not a live stream. You could have
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. And I don't want to spend the next however long.
I'm just saying, like, Perry is way more positive about this than I am. We've already talked about this.
I am, because I think that there is a lot of good thing. There's a lot of good thing. There are a lot of good things to come out of these videos. I think that there's a lot of silly things to come from them as well. But here is okay. Let's start for a second with what they are doing when they say, let me know in the comments below. This is not an uncommon thing.
They don't say, and I even mispronounced. They don't say comments. They literally said, hey guys, tell me about this.
Okay. That can be misconstrued. That is a very common practice, though, in YouTube videos.
I get it.
It's a call to action.
They are doing a bourbon hunting video, and they have made 20 of these videos, and they go, where is this distilled at? Look on the bottle. It says it.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to be more the good cop.
Okay.
About this.
I get it.
Because there are so many cool things about these videos. I do want to talk a little bit about like the mundane nature of some of it as well, because I do think some of it is like, what are we doing here? And I'll highlight some of the negative things first, because I want to get that out of the way. I want to get that out of the way.
The negative, one of legit. It said no pictures of prices, please. No pictures. And they go, well, they didn't say no video. Go! Stop! Jeez.
Video's just moving pictures.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's my first gripe is...
No, I think your first gripe is that they don't have a functioning knowledge of some
it's not like,
bourbon brands.
It's
and
not
I think
like
that's
Rookie,
something I am concerned
Bourbon
with
Rookie
too.
goes hunting. Okay, you probably don't know. People, they're picking up stuff that like they could easily like, they could decipher this. They talk about the mash bills of something, then all of a sudden like there's a bottle. They're like, hey guys, what is this? Tell me about it, bro. Come on.
Yeah. But on the
wild.
flip, okay, so maybe I'll even like in this case, like talk about the flip side of that, right? I'm not saying that this is the best way to approach it, but there is something to be said about like the curiosity of it as well.
Okay.
You know, like if you're watching some of these videos, maybe they might not know everything about. Say they're going to these stores and they're like, what's barrel bourbon, you know, and they don't know about it, but you're like, I want to know what barrel bourbon is. And so you go online and you're starting to learn more about it. Right.
Yeah.
And so like that to me is one of the biggest takeaways from these videos. Right.
I'll give you that.
And one of the things that I have found, and this is the like bourbon nerd in me too. Even watching some of these bourbon hunting videos, I have learned about brands that I don't even know about. I host a bourbon podcast. I've been doing this for 6.5 years, and there are brands that I still don't know about. People hunting in Alabama, in Georgia, in Chicago, like all across the United States.
You know
and
what
there
Wathans
are brands
is?
About
Wathans.
Wathans?
Yeah.
Did one of them say Wathans?
Do you know what Wathans is?
I know Wathans.
That's all I had to say.
By the way, did I say this up top? We're not calling out specific
No,
channels
we're
or
not saying
videos or
any
anything.
names.
If you
I
want to go
watched
watch
20
some
of these videos, and
you
I
did
just
not watch 20 of these videos.
I didn't even. I'm going to show you. You know what I did too, because I didn't want them ruining my timeline.
Stop.
I watched it on YouTube on Safari, so it wouldn't like go to my profile. I've watched all this. You told me to do my homework.
Anyway, you can find these videos
Just
for,
look up
for your own
bourbon
research
hunting.
and
They'll
everything
be-
too.
they'll
Yeah, I
come
mean
up.
that's how I found a bunch of these as well, because I don't want to like name and shame anybody. There are videos you can find on your own. I want to support creators just as much as I want other supporters other creators to support.
And just like I said, you are
Us.
way more positive on this. I'm the one that I'm sticking to my guns here.
Here is what I want to encourage. This is my, if I had a thesis for the entirety of this conversation, this is what I am trying to argue for
All right.
and support. There is an underlying notion of we love bourbon with the bourbon hunting videos, right? However, there is a lot of, we don't seem to fully get what we are trying to accomplish with being or trying to be bourbon nerds,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying you have to be the most educated bourbon nerd either.
Yeah, I mean, look at
I'm not
me.
saying I'm the most educated bourbon nerd
I'm
either.
on a podcast, and I don't know nothing.
And I'm saying there's room for improvement too. And maybe this whole thing is just about being like entertained by it as well. And if you go to the comments, that seems like the thing that is the most relevant.
Do they answer
When
the
people-
questions when people say, hey,
Honestly, I've not seen a lot of that when I
Tell me
go
what this
and
is.
look through. It
Google
just-
it, idiot?
A lot of the comments seem to be like in support of the hunting videos. It's
Yeah.
like, I love seeing you doing these videos. Keep it up, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's a niche that like I can't sustain. Like I've got my own 9 to 5. I've got a family I've got to support. I don't have the time to go out and do bourbon hunting videos. I can't go to a bunch of different states in an allotted amount of time. But there are also like, some of these channels, some of these brands that have also been around for longer than some of these channels that also seem to be geared more towards just hunting.
Right.
Right. And to me, it's like some of them, like the return on investment, it's a little bit more skewed towards like views than it is subscribers or sustainability of subscribers. Right.
Right.
And it's less about like bourbon education, I guess, which to me elevates bourbon further than just like going to a store or talking about like the labels that you see on a surface level, than going to a store, buying a bunch of bottles, and then in the next video, opening those bottles up
Right.
and reviewing them and talking about them. Right. And that is the Mr. Beastification or the gamification of a lot of it to me. Right. Because you're not really turning around and making the hunt about the reward. It's just, I've spent this much money and there's a chance that you can do the same thing. And this is something that I think you and I both agree on too with some of these videos as well.
Oh, I like going into that. Like, I think one of my biggest criticisms about it is it's a false hope. Like, if there are some of these, not every one of them, there are some of these videos where they literally get to go in the back and pick what they want to get. Listen, if you're listening to this and you go into a store and you say, I want to go in the back, they're not going to let you go in the back. Okay? Like, it doesn't work that way. And make a entertaining video out of it or whatever. Like, I got this and that and not. But some people, they aren't going to let you go in the back. And just like Mr. Beast, like, I think there is a culture where kids or people watching be like, I can make $1 million on this.
Yeah.
Like, I can do
Yeah.
And I think that is one of my gripes about it is, and I'm not saying every one of these videos because they don't. There are some videos, though, where they legit walk in and they send them to the back. And they're like, here you go. This is what we got. Go ahead and pick what you want. That's not the real world.
Well, yeah. And I think that so much of it, too, is personality based as well. And there are all these layers of, like, people always talk about how do you get quote unquote famous? How do you make it? Right? And some people talk about, like, you got to have it, or you got to know the right people. And there are aspects of it where it's like, yeah, you got to have it, but you also have to, like, get lucky in some regard too. And whether it's the right person sees what you're doing, or you just hit the right chord with something. There are so many different aspects of it. And I just think that I agree with you in this aspect that there is some, like, false hope that comes into play with the bourbon hunting. And there are so many of these videos too that are like, here are tips and tricks to how to have a successful bourbon hunting trip. And I think that some of it is, like, useful, because I still use some of that too. I'm not saying that, like, I don't go and do some, like, bourbon hunting still as well.
No, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, I don't want to make people think like he hates bourbon hunting. No, I don't hate bourbon hunting. I think everybody should go, especially when you're in a different town. Go to different stores and stuff. But I think the big part of it, is first the false hope. Like, some of these people have already talked to the stores. They know, like, whatever. And then it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like you should walk into a wine and spirit store and start just filming everything, especially if there's other customers. There was one video I watched where the guy said, this is a wine and spirits. And then he walked in and goes, oh, wow, they do have wine in here. I was like, what? What does this even mean? But it's like, I don't know, like, give some tips. And there was one video that I commend that they legit said they didn't want any video or pictures, and they didn't. They went in, they did their thing.
There are a lot of those.
They came back out, and they said, this is what we found and all this stuff. I'm not just dissing on the whole thing. There are some that kind of hit my nerve a little bit to where it's like, well, one, you're being annoying. Two, you're just emphasizing how somebody's overpriced. And three, you found something and you didn't even buy it. You talked so much about it and then you just walked away.
That's the weirdest part of it, when they're like, I've been looking for this for a while, or this is the cheapest price that I've found.
This is my favorite bottle. This is the cheapest price. And they didn't.
I'm just going to leave it.
What?
But this is where I think the only channel that I'm really going to call out, and it's because we're friends with them, is it's Bourbon Night, right? And they do a really good job of, like, I'm setting this budget for this trip. Or
they did like, we've got this budget, let's see what we can get for this. And they actually bought bottles.
And they've been doing that for a lot longer than, like, the past year.
I've watched videos on that list you sent me where they visited 5 stores and they bought 1 bottle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they talked very positively about everything, and they never stated that, hey, we're just going to find the best bottle out of all this. They just straight up was like, we're going to go bourbon hunting. Good. Look at this overpriced. Good. Look at this overpriced. We bought this one bottle out of 5.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's weird. I hate being that person, but it's just like,
Well, I don't think you have to be. I think that there is fun to be had with it too. And I don't want bourbon I don't want bourbon to turn into a spectator sport either. But I do think that in some regard it kind of is right now. But on the flip side of that, like, and this is something that since our conversation on Pride of Anderson County, deep breath, everybody, not just me, everybody else. This is something that I have had to be realistic about, and I have had to be very I've had to be very open with in my own internal dialogue as well. It's not just about like saying, well, I can't afford that, or, you know, how dare they price this for that amount of money or whatever. And I know that like that conversation came out with that air of superiority or whatever, or frustration. It was never intended to be, I can't stand the fact that I am unable to get this.
no, we could have got it.
Yeah. It just was, and we've beat this dead horse. It was just a frustration that there was something that felt like it was hurting our relationship with a brand that we loved. And in the end, it didn't, right? And we have learned that, and we have moved on from that. Ultra premium bourbon will always exist. Look at Weller Millennium, right? It's a $7,500 bottle of bourbon.
Not bad.
We'll never get it. We'll likely never get a sample of it or know anybody.
If we walk in and we say who we are, they will let us go into the back and they will let us try it. That's what these videos taught me.
The whole point of this is that I do want to be able to celebrate other people's wins with bourbon, right? But I don't want it to just be about who has the biggest checkbook, right?
Do people still have checkbooks?
I'm using it as a metaphor.
Oh.
I want it to be about who has the biggest checkbook and who is also opening those bottles.
Who's the most generous person out there with the biggest checkbook who wants
Kind
to
of.
buy all the bottles and share with us?
But not us.
Why not us?
Not us. Because I don't care. I don't care if they're sharing it with us. I want it to be opened. I want them to enjoy it. But also, if they don't open it, that's their own prerogative. It's no skin off of my nose. If they buy it and it's a shelf sitter and it collects dust for the rest of its life, oh, okay, fine.
But at least they bought it. YouTubers who make hunting videos. That's my gripe. Why don't you make a bourbon buying video and show me all the stores that you go to and you actually buy stuff?
I think that there's just more to be said for, like, don't gamify it and make it more about like the community. Like that, I think that's why our conversation months ago on Pride of Anderson County got misconstrued, right? And
because
like,
I said community is people like take that way too serious. Like,
I don't know.
It's all about community, family.
The
baby.
TV show,
Family.
6 seasons in a movie.
it's all about family. I don't know, man. Like these videos are just I will give it to you. There are good tips, and then some of them are straight up trash. I'm going to tell you. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's boring. It's straight up boring.
I don't think they're boring. I think
They're
some
all
of them
the
are,
same.
I think some of them are fun.
They're all the same.
I don't think they're boring.
They're boring.
I think that they should be on the podcast. I think they should come on the show.
Bring them all on. See what happens. You can roll the dice and see.
I think they should come on the
Bring 'em
podcast.
on.
We should talk about bourbon
Right
hunting.
here. Who's the first one that's going to be right
I don't know. I don't know.
Put their video
I think
right here.
I think all of them should. You are more than welcome on the podcast. Let's hang out. Let's.
And if you hang out with the Whiskey Mutant, you get real life. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell them. If they say in the wild one more time, I'm going to flip the table over.
Okay. I think that there is more than enough room at the table for everybody.
Bring them all. Let's do a round table of bourbon hunters.
Sure.
All the best hunters. We hunted the best store in America.
I'm just
We
saying.
bought nothing.
I don't think that there is any reason for us to burn bridges.
I'm not trying to burn bridges.
Well, you keep saying that their content sucks.
Well, that video did. I mean, it's the same. They didn't even buy anything. What are they doing?
Come on the podcast. Hang out with us.
Defend yourself. I will battle you.
Don't
ready to be a
be a
referee?
debate lord.
No, you better. You ready to be a
Don't
referee?
be a debate lord. Come on.
Just make a video where you just show all the bottles you bought.
And open them, I guess.
And don't ask the people to tell you where it's from, and you're not putting out the video for like a month later. You already figured it out.
Also, if you come to Lexington, hit us up. We'd love to hang out. Like, actually, like we would love to hang out. There's only a few bourbon podcasts in Lexington.
You can hang out with Perry.
What do you mean? You don't want to hang out?
They'll come down here and hunt, and they can hunt in my basement right now.
Anyway, bourbon hunting videos. I think that there are large positives with them. I think that there is room for improvement. Don't give people false hopes.
Yeah.
But also like highlight brands that people should learn about.
Did you know
too.
one of the videos I watched? They said, "What is this? Why the ancient age plastic bottle? I'm putting that back." Yeah, bro, that's one of the videos you sent me.
I think I skipped over that part. That hurts.
Put it back down.
Oh,
this
man.
much for a liter, a plastic bottle liter.
How much was it?
What?
$30?
$28? $30? Put it back down. What are you doing? I will show you the video. You sent it to me.
Okay.
I told you I did my research. Why do you think I'm so passionate about this? Ancient leader, and they put it back down?
All right. I don't think we need high proof hot takes this week.
It's ancient age. Why are you putting that back down? You're bourbon hunting. What are you doing?
That one does hurt. That one really hurts, actually.
It does. And that's one of the first things I saw, and it set me off. Ancient age.
All right. We got tips and bits.
Tips and bits.
We're going to recommend some stuff that we have been watching, listening to, reading, just enjoying over the past week or so. What do you have, Eric?
I have more Star Wars. Tales of the
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Empire.
You kind of started on that last week, and then you weren't able to follow up on it.
So I finished Tales of the Empire, which is, if you heard me talk about this before, there is a Tales of the Jedi, which they take about 15-minute episodes. It's like the CGI
Really
animation, little stories that just are just stuff you maybe have not known about some characters you've seen before. So now we have a series of Tales of the Empire. So the first half of the series is about Morgan Elsbeth, who, if you don't know who that is, if you watch Ahsoka or The Mandalorian, she is the lady that has the spear in Mando. And then in Ahsoka, she is like the She comes back and she's part of the sisters, and she helps Thrawn, and she's got the little like logo on her forehead and stuff like that. So it kind of shows her when she was young, getting to the point where she is now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Not the most entertaining story, but it's still cool to see. Then the last half is a story about a Jedi named, she's Barriss. If you've watched the Clone Wars,
Barriss Sophie?
Yes. She has like little like triangles like around her nose and stuff like that. So it shows what happens to her after Order 66 and to current. So it's just, I like it because it's something different. It's not we're going to tell you a story about somebody you know. Like you may not know. So it may not be for everybody. I will 100% say that. Some people may be bored because maybe they don't care about these characters. But if you care about like random characters you may have saw in Clone Wars or like on Mando, and you want to see a little bit more about it and a little bit more how the Empire does things, it's a cool show.
Yeah.
The music, the art, the story, it's all really good. It's just going to depend on how intrigued you are about non-main characters.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's what I got.
I got a couple. I will start with I guess it's a story that I heard this week. I hadn't heard it before. I was really interested by it. I heard it on a podcast. It was this guy.
Interesting. What?
He's kind of
Get his penis cut off?
no.
John Bobbitt? No? Okay. You're actually making me more excited to hear what's about to happen.
He's somewhat legendary in the upstate, in a team that you might be fond of.
Larry Bird?
No.
Oh.
Further.
O.J. Simpson?
No.
The Bills?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, actually. Had not heard of him before, but I'm endlessly fascinated by the story of one Pinto Ron.
Yes! Let's go!
I learned about Pinto Ron this week.
Tell them about him.
The man who accidentally made a hamburger and held it out and said, "Can you give me some ketchup?"
Let's go.
And he got some ketchup squirted from like a foot away onto his burger. And then he just stands in a group of people and gets bukkakied.
Yeah.
With a bunch
I've been waiting on this.
How did you think I would ever come across Pinto Ron?
I don't know. How did you come across it?
I was listening to a podcast with there are a couple of creators that I follow, Jarvis Johnson and Ted Nivison, and I follow the other creators who are on it. But it's the Fear and podcast. But they were guests on it, and they talked about Pinto Ron. And I was so fascinated by it, and they played a short little like 5-minute documentary, and I was like, this is unbelievable. And the craziest thing to me is that his name isn't even Ron. It's so good, man. Just this old dude.
There he is, man.
There he is, man. Oh, it's kind of gross, but
Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo.
he's my new hero. But Pinto Ron is
Yeah, just Google Pinto Ron.
yeah. Learn
Go
about
Bills,
him.
baby.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But the other thing, Childish Gambino put out a new album this week.
Did he?
He did.
I thought it was did he put out a remastered one of his old one?
Kind of. Okay, so
yeah, explain this to me.
So I don't know how to exactly explain this, but Childish Gambino, also known to the normies as Donald Glover, the actor.
Because things of like Atlanta and Parks and Recs.
No, Community.
Community.
Yeah,
that's right.
Back in 2020, he dropped I would call it a mixtape more than I would an album, 3/12/20.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded very. You remember Untitled Unmastered from Kendrick Lamar?
Mm-hmm.
It had that same kind of vibe to it, where it wasn't exactly like, it didn't feel finished, but it was still like breadcrumbs after Awaken My Love, which came out in 2016. It was the album with Redbone.
Yeah. Because of the Internet is my favorite.
Yeah. Oh no, that's my favorite Gambino album as well. But so 3/12/20 came out right before lockdown happened. Everybody was kind of raving about it. I loved it back when it dropped. And again, it kind of felt like unfinished, but it was new Gambino music. And I think I even talked about it on the podcast back then.
Prowler?
He is Prowler. Yeah. He's he's Uncle Aaron in Spider-Man Homecoming.
And
in Across the Spider-Verse.
And he's not Prowler in another movie, but he's in another movie. They're in the parking garage.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh yeah. I said that one already.
I thought you said 2 Spider-Verse ones, but
no.
And
what, man?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, so the new album that just dropped kind of was somewhat teased over the past few weeks. Donald doesn't really tweet that much, but when he does, it usually gets deleted after like a week. But he's kept up his tweets recently, and he's doing kind of like live radio shows on a locally hosted website, and he was streaming essentially the finished album of what was 3/12/20, which turned into Ata Vista. Had a bunch of features on it, and he dropped a music video the other day, which was called Littlefoot Bigfoot, which had some of the same kind of like social commentary that This Is America did back in 2017, which is I still love that song.
Really
love that music video. I'll have to show you. I did a digital art piece back in the day that I never put out, but anyway, really, really good. If you like Gambino, I think that you would like this as well. It's a very refined piece that bridges the gap between Awaken My Love and Because the Internet. Highly recommend it. 31220 is no longer on streaming, but you can still find it on YouTube in some capacity. But, you know, if you want to kind of compare and contrast the differences between the two, either way, it's good stuff.
Good stuff.
So Pinto Ron and Adavista from Childish Gambino.
If you want to, speaking of YouTube, if you're listening to this,
Yes.
and you want to see us, you can go to youtube.com/This Is My Bourbon Podcast, because we put this show on YouTube.
That is true.
If you're listening and you've always wondered what we look like, and you're like, I don't really follow social media or anything like that, and only YouTube, you only hunt bourbon on YouTube, you can go to YouTube and watch this episode right now and see us. But if you want all the good stuff, all the bonuses, all the first stuff, go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And at $5, you get all the bonus episodes. You get Pours from the Floor. You get Sampling Irresistible. You get Pop Jigga Wawa. And you get the pregame chats. But also, you get this episode uncut early before anybody else. Patreon.com/mybourbonpod. Go there. Support the show. Do all the things. You can also go to social media. You can follow me at Whiskey Mutant. You can follow Perry at PRitter1792. You can follow the show, both of us, at My Bourbon Pod. You can send us an email. This is my bourbon shop at gmail.com. Send us an email if you prefer to do that instead of DMing us. If you want to get some merch.
If you're a bourbon hunter YouTuber and you want to chat with us.
Yeah, if you're
YouTube, the email is probably the best way to do that.
Yeah, if you are in a bourbon store, a wine and spirit store, a liquor store, and you don't know what you're looking at, and you want to ask us instead of your viewers, send an email that says, hey, where was this distilled? Send us a picture. Bourbon Shop.
This is my bourbon shop at gmail.com.
This is my bourbon shop at gmail.com. We will answer you. We will help you. We'll help you. Help us help you.
I'm losing them.
If you want to send us samples or bottles or anything, send us a package to
P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522.
That's right. If you want to send a text message or a voicemail, we're going to be compiling them all together on our Barrel Rings episode. You can text or call 859-428-8253.
That's the Bob Dylan version.
Yeah. We're the podcast. This is my bourbon podcast.
My bourbon podcast.
Just tell people about us. Go to, if you're watching on YouTube and you subscribe to people on like the podcast app, and even if you don't listen, go subscribe, download it. Yeah, help us. Leave a comment, subscribe, alerts, do all the stuff. Like we've said a billion times, this is the live show, the weekend week. If you haven't got tickets, there are a few tickets left. I'm talking like 3 tickets, like no joke. There's like 3 tickets left. If you want to be one of the last 3, get tickets down here. Perry's got all the links. We've said it before. I gotta go. He just showed me something under the table. I'm Whiskey Mutant. This is Perry.
I'll see you next week.
This is my bourbon podcast. Until then,
bye.
So shut it off.